In this video, we will be going over the Drop Element tool. To get to this tool, you'll be in your drawing workflow under the Home ribbon, and this last set of tools down at the end, it's called Groups. It's in this last row, the very last tool on the bottom. You have a down arrow. If I select that, you have a couple different tools, but the one we're going to talk about is the Drop Element tool. So if I left click and select it, it'll bring up the tool over here. So the Drop Element tool is used to break up elements into simpler components, and the settings in the tool are used to specify how the tool operates. So in this first example, we have a shared cell. If I use my element selection tool and hover over the element, you can see it's all one cell. So I'm going to come back to my Drop Element tool, and since this is a cell, I'm going to make sure my shared cells is checked on. And depending on what I want to drop it to, if I want to drop it to its geometry or its normal cell, I can select it from here. I'm going to drop it down to its geometry, so I'm going to have that selected. And now when I go out and left click on that element, now if I hover over it, you can see it's dropped it to its individual pieces. If I move over to the block, I have a shape here, so I'll probably want to come back up to my Drop Element tool, check on the line, strings, and shapes. Now I can go ahead and left click on that block. Now if I hover over it, you can see it's dropped back down to its individual pieces. So if I come over and hover over the line string, you can see it's all one element. Since I have my line strings checked on, if I left click on it, it's going to drop that element to its individual pieces. I'm going to go ahead and pan over to the next block. Come back up and select my Drop Element tool again. So here I have a single dimension line. Maybe I want to drop it down so each dimension is its own separate piece. So if I check on my dimensions, I want to change this from 2 geometry to 2 segments. If it's set to geometry, it'll drop that dimension down into its lines, arcs, and text. But I want to set it to segments, so it will drop it down to its individual dimension segments. So now all I have to do is go out and left click on that dimension line. Now you can see that dimension line is broken up into its individual segments. And I could modify each one of these separately now if I needed to. And if I come back up here and change my dimensions from 2 segments to the option of 2 geometry, and I come out here and select a dimension, now when I come back and hover over the dimension, you can see it's broken up to its individual lines and text elements. You do have some other options under here to drop multi-lines, text, and application elements. You probably won't ever need to drop multi-lines or application elements. But if you ever wanted to drop text, you could check that on. So if I came out to this Drop Element Dimensions text and selected it, the first time you select it, it's going to drop it down to its individual letters. If I selected one of the letters again, then it's going to drop that text down to its individual pieces. So that's what you would use the Drop Element tool for, just to break up an element into its separate components.